Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. This will probably be the final video for 2023 or possibly the first video of 2024 depending on if I have time to like edit and post this before the end of the year. But yeah, anyway, today I have a like end of year collection update slash flip through kind of thing. So yeah, I plan to do these kind of every 6 months like most people on K-pop collecting YouTube. So I have a lot of binders to go through. I'm gonna try not to spend too much time on like individual cards or anything like that. But if you do have questions, you can let me know down below and I will try my best to answer them. Before we get started, I do want to say real quick, thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. I like honestly kind of can't believe it. I did not expect to hit that milestone like so quickly, and definitely not this year. Like that's just kind of insane to me. But yeah, just thank you to anyone who watches my videos and returns or decides to subscribe. It means a lot to me. So yeah, just wanted to say thank you. And we can go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start with this binder. So I don't show this binder a lot on my channel because I don't really add anything to it, but it does have my Victon collection. Yeah, I haven't really, well, I mean, they're like, have basically disbanded, but like not really officially. So I'm not really sure what will happen to Victon, but this is just the collection that I have of their last couple comebacks. So I collect Sungshik and Sejun are my biases, and then I have like an OT5 set here. I collected a lot for choice. We're not going to talk about it. Tempest is also in here. I don't really collect them anymore, but this is what I have. And then this group is called ATBO. They debuted was it 22? It was either 21 or 22. They're like still a fairly new group, and I just have some cards from their first 2 comebacks, but I'm not going to be collecting them anymore. And then here I just have some random cards. We have taeyong superm, we have Donghyun from Very Very, we have some Stray Kids, more Stray Kids, we have Jungkook from BTS, Moonbin from Astro, and then these are some cards from the boys. And then the remains of my Sunghwa collection. I used to collect him along with Yeosang, but I ended up deciding to drop that collection. And these are just some of the pre-order benefits and like things that I just didn't want to get rid of. So yeah, that's it for this little binder. Okay, next up I have another like miscellaneous collections binder. So first up is P1 Harmony. That's a blank cover page, okay? We have P1 Harmony, so I collect Intak. And I have not been working on this collection. It's been a hot minute. I'm like so close, but also just have not been working on it. I also collect a couple like random Jungsub cards, so yeah. Next up, I have my little enhypen collection. So Yeosang is my bias, but I also have a random Sunghoon card and a group card back here. Yeah, very small collection. And then I also have my woodz collection in here, which I mainly just kind of keep my bias, or not my bias, my album pulls, but yeah. I don't really collect him too thoroughly. I also never purchased his like most recent comeback, so I should probably do that. And on this page we have Minjae from Xikers. I just have a couple cards. Then we have evnne down here, so I collect Yunso. And then on this page I have my Boy Next Door collection. So I collect Sungho. These are collections I don't really collect super thoroughly, but just at least a couple cards like per comeback. So yeah, that's it for this miscellaneous boy group binder. And up next we have the miscellaneous girl group binder. So first up I have Moonsua from Billlie. So I collect all of her album cards. And I'm pretty much complete with her collection. I'm just missing these cards, the Snowy Night cards. So yeah. So those are all of her album cards, and then I do collect like some pre-order benefits. I would love to collect her like more thoroughly, but her cards are just hard to find for some reason. I don't know. I have this random Jisoo from Blackpink Polaroid, and then here I have my Kepler collection. So Mashiro is my bias. I just kind of collect like 1 or 2 cards per comeback. I haven't really purchased any from their most recent one. And then here I just have a page of like plushie cards. Yeah. And then some like POBs, or this is like her light stick card. And yeah. And then next I have Purple Kiss. So I kind of collect Aira and Yuki. Just kind of like, again, 1 or 2 cards per comeback. Again, haven't really been keeping up with that. Here I have some random Jiyoon and Swan cards. And next we have Itzy. So I used to collect Yoona pretty thoroughly, and then I decided to kind of downsize and like drop the majority of that collection. So, but I do have at least like 1 or 2 cards per comeback again. And then I also collect unit cards with Leah, because they're just so freaking cute. And I also have a page of Riize cards because she's just so pretty. And I love these cards so much, like, I don't know. And next we have some Kim Sejong cards. So these are just from her most recent solo album. And next we have New Jeans. So I collect Minji kind of very loosely. I haven't purchased any from their most recent comeback. It seems to be a recurring theme with these like miscellaneous collections, but again, these are just kind of collections that I collect when I want to, or like, I don't know, they're not a huge priority. And then next we have IVE. So I collect Yujin, again, just really like 1 or 2 cards per comeback. And then I have a couple Wonyoung cards just because they're so cute. And then Stacy. I don't really keep up with Stacy anymore, but I just wanted to keep these for now. I don't know if I'll keep them forever, but yeah. Next we have Loona. So I collect Jinsol. These are just some of her cards. I'm not planning on collecting her fully by any means, but this is just what I have. And then next we have Yenna. So I just have a couple of her cards here, and also this POB, which is so freaking cute. I do plan to collect her a little bit more, just because why not? I love her cards, I love her music, she's great. And then here is the last of like my Twice collection. I used to collect Jihyo pretty thoroughly, and then I don't know, I just got overwhelmed with the amount of cards that Twice has, so I ended up dropping that, and this is just kind of what I kept. I kept the OT9 set from, what is this, between 1 and 2, I think, with like the plushies and like just objects that they were holding. And then I have like a couple group cards and things like that, so yeah. And then back here just random like bookmark things. So yeah, that's it for this binder. Up next I have my aespa binder. So I do collect OT4 for all of the album cards. So here we have Savage. Feels like so long ago, oh my gosh. And then these are like the SMCU cards from 2021. And then we have Girls. And then these are the US exclusives. I can't remember if, I think these are the photo book ones. And then these are the digipack ones, question mark. Then SMCU 22. I just have like some random cards. I have some Ning Ning, and then my pulls for, I think it was like the membership version and the guest version. I don't know, but yeah, I just kept them. And then here we have My World. So this is their, well, I was about to say their most recent comeback, but not quite. Which there were so many sets for this era. The SM Mini is probably my favorite. And then the US exclusives we're still working on. And then here we have Drama. So I just have like my album pulls in here so far. Not a ton. Okay, and here I have just like some miscellaneous like non-album things for Ning Ning, who is my bias. I don't collect too much for her. And then I also have some for Karina. Then at the back I just have like the kind of like ID cards or like other cards that aespa has done, because I don't collect OT4 for these, but I have them all for Ning Ning, and then I have a couple of just winter cards that I pulled. So yeah. So yeah, that is it for aespa, which I still need to upgrade them because this binder is so full. Okay, so next I'm going to go through these binders. So these are my 17, I don't want to call them like OT13, but basically cards of the other members that I collect. So we'll start with this one. So I just kind of collect like random cards of the other members, like either my pulls or just cards that I really like. So we have Scoops, and then Jonghan. I have a lot for him. Empty page. Okay, and then Joshua. And June. Definitely need more June cards. Okay, and then we have Hoshi. Again, I have a lot for him. I feel like I need to reorganize these binders and like maybe downsize a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, okay. And then we have Wonu. And these are just extra pages, so that's it for this binder. And then in this binder, I have the other 6 members, and I have Dino separate. He's my bias, so he gets a big binder. But we have woodz, and then we have DK and Mingyu. I also have a lot for Mingyu. He is he is a bias wrecker for sure. Okay, and then we have the 8 or Minghao. Also have a lot for him. And then next we have Seungkwan. Which probably his best card. Bunana. And okay, next we have Vernon. Which again, I don't have a ton for Vernon. I feel like I should buy more of his cards. And then yeah, so that's it for this binder. Okay, I usually like to keep groups together, kind of, but I'm gonna do these next because they're kind of like the last of my smaller binders. They're not like the big binders. So yeah, first in this collect book, I have my Jaemin collection. So these are just like miscellaneous non-album cards of his. I don't collect like a ton for him, just kind of whatever I can get my hands on that's not like super expensive, because he does tend to be fairly expensive. But yeah, so those are all like album releases. And then we have like SMCU, ISTJ, some blank pages. Okay, here we have some season's greetings. We have like his birthday merch. This one was like some kind of fan meeting card, some Sanrio, and more season's greetings. So yeah, that's it for Jaemin. And then in this like wide binder, I have my Chenle non-album collection, which I do collect him pretty thoroughly, I would say. I don't collect everything by any means, but like most of his POBs at least. I don't worry too much about like fan sign cards and like random merch releases, but like comeback like POBs I try to collect. So first on this page, I just have some like Kino cards of his. I don't remember why I'm leaving this one blank, but I'm assuming I'm still missing one of his Kinos or something. So yeah, and then here we start like hot sauce era, and then Hello Future, and then these are like season's greetings and like other random like merch cards. We have some universe merchandise, and then here is glitch mode, which I feel like glitch mode kind of started their like insane POB merch stuff, because there was just a lot and I collected a lot. And then here we have beatbox, and I'm still waiting on all of these group orders from someone who I'm not going to mention, but if you know, you know. And then like merch from beatbox, and then here is Sanrio and like season's greetings. And then we start candy down here. And then, okay, on this page, there's kind of random stuff. We have like SMCU, Japan, random merch, more random merch. And then here we start like ISTJ era. So there was a ton. I think I've collected most of what I'm going to collect. So I don't know if I'll be adding anything else. Maybe I'll just try to finish this page or something. But yeah. And then this is more just random merch, like their Komaz merch, and then Golden Age. I think Target probably. But yeah, that's it for Chenle. Up next, I have ateez. So I collect, this says ateez because I used to collect more than one member, but I only collect yeosang now. So these are just his album cards in the front here. I really need to just finish this collection. So Fever, Part 2, Part 3, Epilogue. I always forget the name of this one. Movement. We have Spin-Off. Oh, for Spin-Off, I also collected like my top 3 on this page just because there was a weird amount of cards. And then here we have Outlaw. Still working on these. And then I haven't set up for his their new album yet, but it would go here. I haven't even purchased the albums, to be honest. So yeah, and then here we start his like POB benefit section. So starting with Fever Part 2. I'm not going to go through these individually again, but we just have all of these. There's a lot. And then starting Fever Part 3, which was actually insane. Like, there was just so much. And then we have Epilogue. And Movement. Which also had a lot. And I'm still trying to find some of them. Actually, I think Movement was probably like their worst era. And then we start Spin-Off here. And then here we start Outlaw. And yeah, so that's it for yeosang. And up next is the larger girl group binder. So in here I have like Taeyeon. I collect her solo stuff kind of loosely. I would like to collect more, but I feel like it's just kind of hard to find, or she can be pretty expensive, so I don't have too much of her solo stuff, but I'm still working on INVU. And then these are like some Girls' Generation cards from Forever One. And then I also have some Taeyeon and Shinee that I pulled, and then these are just like random other cards that I didn't know what to do with. And then these are more SMCU, and again, more pulls. So yeah, and then next up I have Sserafim. So I do collect, we're gonna ignore this. These are like, I think Stray Kids used to be in this binder. So anyway, Sserafim. So I collect OT5. That's Fearless era. And then we move on to Anti-Fragile. Which I just want to say thank God I'm done with, because that was a nightmare. And then we have Unforgiven and the compact cards. And then these are the Weavers cards. And I have this random Yeonjin Pob because I didn't know where else to put it. Okay, and then next we have Got the Beat. So I collect like my top 3, and then I collect just kind of random other member cards to fill up the pages. So we have Taeyeon, Seulgi, and Wendy. And then a random Hyoyeon down here. And then on this page I have a Winter, a Hyoyeon, and a Karina. And then I collected OT7 for the S minis. And next we have Red Velvet, which I'm collecting mainly Wendy for like their earlier albums and things like that. And then I also loosely collect Seulgi, just kind of whatever I can get my hands on, pretty much. And then here I have Wendy's solo album, Like Water. And here, this is where I I went a little crazy and I decided to collect OT5 for Finale. So I think this is the scrapbook version, maybe. I do have 2 of these on the way, so I'm just missing one more. I think it's the Sewing Machine Joy. So yeah. And then these are the Finale version, and then we started Queendom down here. So here is the photo book versions from Queendom, and then we start why am I blanking on what this is called? Feel My Rhythm. So this is the Orgel version, I think. And then, yeah, these are the 2 photo book versions. And then here we start Birthday. And then here is my setup for Chill Kill, which really needs to be reorganized. So just ignore it for now. Yeah. So that's it for the girl group binder. And up next I have my 17 Dino binder. So I used to collect like my top 3 for 17, and then now I collect Dino and then like random cards of the other members. So yeah, we start with his earlier album cards here. Going 17, AL1, Teenage, Director's Cut, and then here is You Make My Dawn, You Made My Day, whichever order they go in, and then an Ode, the infamous An Ode, and then here we have Hengare, which actually started over here, and then semicolon, Your Choice. This is Ataka, and then Face the Sun, and Sector 17, FML, which I'm still finishing, apparently, and then these are also FML, the like deluxe version, And then here is 17th Heaven. And yeah, that's it for the album cards, or Korean album. I also collect his like Japanese album cards. I haven't really focused on like back collecting them because they just tend to be expensive. So yeah, I started with this comeback, which was Hitori Janai, I think, probably pronouncing that wrong, but yeah. And then this one is I know Chikara, I believe, and then this one is, oh gosh, Dream, what's it called? Yeah, Dream. And then they just had a comeback, a Japan comeback, but I have apparently not set up for that. I don't even really have any of his cards yet. Okay, and then here we start like the non-album stuff. So these are a bunch of just like HMV cards. And then here we start like the POBs, lucky draws. So I started with Your Choice. I would like to collect earlier eras like Semicolon, especially. I really like those cards. But other than that, there's not really like a ton of POBs. I feel like it started with Your Choice and it's just been crazy ever since. So, and then we have Ataka, and Face the Sun, and Sector 17, and then FML, which I'm still working on, and I have not even set up for 17th Heaven. I have hardly even purchased any of the POBs because there was just so much happening when that comeback happened, and it's a lot. And then I also collect his other like non-album things. So these are Season's Greetings, I think. Oh no, these are fan club, sorry. Fan club cards. These are Season's Greetings. And then these are like photo book cards and things like that, like DVD type of stuff. And then these are just like other miscellaneous things, like these are trading cards, like incomplete trading cards from their concert. What is it, Going 17, I think, and then In the Soup. And then this is the Going 17 Volume 2. And then all of these are like Japan trading cards. I just have them. I don't really collect them super thoroughly at all, but yeah. Okay, so that is it for Dino. There's a ton of stuff in here. Again, if you have questions about like individual cards, let me know and I will try my best to let you know what they're from. But yeah, that's it for this binder. Okay, up next I have TXT. So for their earlier album cards, well, I do collect OT5 for almost everything. So these are oh my gosh, what was this album called? Dream Chapter Star, I think. So I do have both OT5 sets. And then for Magic Hour, I just collected the IDs of like my top 3 because there's just no good way to collect OT5 for those. I do have all of the like universe cards, and then same for Eternity. I'm like blanking on all of these eras. For Eternity, I just collected my top 3 and then both group cards. And then I have all of the TU cards as well. Okay, so here's where I started like really collecting OT5, when they started doing like normal sized selfie cards. So this is Blue Hour. And then Riize, which honestly are probably some of my favorite cards. I just really loved the concepts they did with this album. And then this is like the repackaged Fighter Escape. And then these are the jewel case cards. And then here we have Thursday's Child. And these I collected, well, they have the, what were these called? They had like the 3 photo book versions, and then they had this one, which I am currently blanking on the name for it. And then I also collected the Target cards down here, and these are the Weavers Global. I just decided to collect those really to fill up the spread because I wanted all of the Temptation cards together, which are also some of my favorite cards I have ever done. They are just absolutely beautiful. Yeah, and then here are the Lullaby and the Weavers versions. And here is where we start Free Fall. So, still working on this. My setup is not really complete, but yeah, so here they started doing like 2 cards per album version, which is kind of annoying, but it's fine. And then here are the last couple Weavers ones. And then, so I collect Yeonjun for like non-album things. So these are like Korean non-album stuff. A disclaimer, these lucky draws are all replicas. They are not real because I cannot afford that. So these are all Blue Hour, and then here we start Freeze. And then Fighter Escape and Thursday's Child. And then here we start Temptation, which I think I'm still waiting on at least one more group order for that era. I think it's this one. And then here I started for Free Fall. I have joined like a fixed claims group order, so I'm waiting for the majority of those to arrive to the group order manager before I get them shipped to me. Here is a page that we're not going to talk about. Just kidding. It's my Bongyu like guilty pleasure page, I guess. They're just like my favorite cards of his, and he's probably my second bias, so yeah. Honestly, I would love to have a page like this of every member, so I might try to do that, but I don't know. And then here we have Yeonjun's Japanese cards, so I do collect all of his like individual cards and then also the unit cards. So yeah, there's just a lot. I didn't say what these are from, but they have oh gosh, I know these two are Drama. This one is Magic Hour maybe, and then these are, no, this is Magic Hour. I don't remember, honestly. Okay, these are, it starts Chaotic Wonderland down here, which is all of that. And then we have their Thursday's Child equivalent, which I can't think of the name of the album right now, but oh, Good Boy Combat. Okay, yeah. And then their most recent comeback, which is Sweet. And then here is all of the like other kind of non-album like merch things, or like fan club cards, season's greetings, photo books, things like that. Which honestly, I feel like I'm not really caught up on collecting these, but I don't care like too much about being caught up with those. And then these are a photo book set. What is it called? They're like 3rd hour photo book. So I just have like the other members here, and then the unit cards. And then these are the 22 deco kit. Was it 22? I don't know, but these are all a deco kit. And then here I have Yeonjun's like larger broadcast cards. So I don't have all of them, but I do have some. These two are like Angel Devil. This one is oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of it. And then this one's Blue Hour. Also Blue Hour, and then Freeze. And then these are like other merch cards, like t-shirt merch, and this is his birthday merch. So yeah, just like other large cards. Then I just have some like postcards from Blue Hour, Good Boy Gone Bad, his signed postcard from Temptation, And then just more like temptation postcards and season's greetings postcards. And then these are all like deco kit, which are kind of getting like destroyed at the top. So yeah. And then this was like a photo book pre-order benefit. And yeah, that is it for TXT and Yeonjun. Which this binder is literally bursting. Okay, so next I have the gigantic boy group binder. So first up we have riize, and I do collect OT7 for the album cards. And then I also collect like POBs. I collect almost everything for Shotaro. He is my bias. He is one of my ults at this point. He was one of my biases in NCT, and now he's just like a pretty strong ult for me. His collection needs reorganizing, but that's okay. Next we have 0 base 1. So I collect 3 members. I collect Hanbin, Jiwon, and Kyubin. And then I collected OT9 for the Youth in the Shade digipack. Still working on that, but you know, it is what it is. And then I also collected some POBs, so I did collect some for my top 3, but I think I'm gonna downsize these pretty soon. I just don't need them, you know. And then I collected some more for Jiwon, who is my bias. And yeah. Next we have EXO. So I mainly collect Sehun. He is my bias, and these are just his album cards. Obsession, my favorite era. And then we have Don't Fight the Feeling and Exist. These are some like POBs actually. I just put them here because I decided to start collecting my top 3 for Exist. So we have Suho, Sehun, and Kai. And then I decided to collect OT8 for the digipack and the S mini. And then here I have his like I almost said solo, his unit cards, I guess. So he has a unit with chenle, so these are his cards for What a Life, and then 1 billion views. And I also collect Kai's solo album cards because he is a very strong bias for me. So these are all like his Kai album. And then we have Peaches next, and then Rover, which I'm still working on. And I also loosely kind of collect Suho's solo albums. So yeah, these are his self-portrait, and then these are the Suit album cards. Not Suit, Gray Suit. And then I also have some other cards of like the other members. So I have some Jaemin, Baekhyun, another Kai, and then a Dio. Okay, and next we have Shinee. So I recently upgraded to collecting OT5, and yeah, we have not made a ton of progress, but it's okay. I know this is going to be a pretty slow collection. I do have a full set here. So yeah. I do have Taeyeon mostly complete. I'm just missing this one card. Well, and I'm missing one of his hard album cards still, but you know, it is what it is. And we have Don't Call Me, and Atlantis, and then Hard. So yeah, I'm missing one Taeyeon and one key album card. And then I'm still missing these group cards, but honestly, they're not a huge priority. I could honestly just change this, because I think this is my favorite album card or group card, because it's like the upright portrait version instead of the landscape like the other ones, so I could just put that one in the middle and then do like the 4 selfies. I haven't really decided. And then this is the digipack in S Mini, and then here we have Jaemin solo albums. So I do collect all Shinee solo album cards. These are Jaemin's with the setup for Guilty. And then next I have Key. I should probably put them in age order, but you know, whatever. So I have Bad Love and Gasoline. And then Killer, which I'm still missing one more card for, but hopefully soon it will be done. And then we have Good and Great, which still a work in progress. And then for Jinky, we have his solo album cards from Voice, and then these are all from Dice. And then these are Circle. So I'm still missing a couple cards. I should probably just try to find them. And then here is the page for Mino's solo album Chase. And then I don't have fillers set up for Jonghyun just because I think these will be difficult to find, but his solo cards will go here. These are just random cards from like SMCU. This is a fan meeting of anniversary card. And then here I have some pre-order benefits. So I have the K-Town for You and then the With Mew sets. And then just more Jaemin POBs. And then this is the setup for all of his Guilty, like POBs, lucky draws, fan sign cards. There's more that I need to add. And then I do have some like larger inclusions back here. I don't really store them anymore. Whoops. I have Atlantis, Advice. Oh, and then I have superm back here. Honestly, I forgot they were even in this binder. But I have my top 3 for superm, so Baekhyun, Jaemin, and 10. Which honestly, at this point, I would say that Kai is probably my bias along with Jaemin and 10, but at the time it was Baekhyun, and I just can't get rid of Froggy Baekhyun, so here it is. And I have 10's ID cards and the unit cards. And then this is like the Asia press version with the group card. Is literally one of the best group cards like to ever exist. It's so cute. And then I just have some postcards. So we have 10, Jaemin, a group card, and then also taeyong. So yeah. But that is it for this binder. Alright, we just have NCT left, so I'm going to start with 127. I do collect all members for NCT, so yeah, it's a lot. So it's for Fire Truck, and then we have Cherry Bomb and Irregular, sorry. And then this is Regulate, and then Yeosang, and then Superhuman, and Yeosang, which is all of these versions. And then this is Punch, or the final round, also Yeosang. And then we have Sticker. And Favorite. And then we have 2 fatties. I'm still missing this Haejin. I just realized that. Oh my gosh, I really thought I had that. Okay. Anyway, yeah, these are all 2 baddies. There was a ton for 2 baddies. And then we have their repackage, Ayo. And then finally we have Fact Check, which I'm still working on, but we have made some progress. I feel like this video is just really redundant because my last video was a storing photocards video, but whatever. So This is the S Mini. This one is the Japan exclusive cards, I believe, and then these are the Mumo POBs, and then this is Target exclusive, and then this is my page for the rest of the exclusives, which I'll be collecting my top 3 eventually. And then I also have dojaejung in here, so this is perfume, the photo book versions, and then this is digipack and the box version. And then here are the S Mini and then the photo book group cards. And I also have Taeyong solo cards, so still working on this, but we are almost done. In the back here I just have like random circle cards, you know, and I guess wavy tattoo sticker. So yeah, that is it for 127. I also have this little like NCT like keychain kind of thing, so yeah, thought it was cute. Okay, up next I have NCT Dream, which again I collect everything. So we have their debut, and then We Young, and what is this, We Go Up, and we have Boom, oh, and Reload. And then we have Hot Sauce, which we finally have all 7 members. Yay! And then I also collected the jewel case cards, of course. And then here is Hello Future. And Glitch Mode, which I'm still missing this Haechan. Why is it always Haechan? Oh, goodness. Oh, and these, I guess. I have Mark and Haechan. I don't really care too much about these, but like now that I'm only missing 1 member, you know. Beatbox. You know, I really thought I was done with Beatbox, but I guess not. I'm still missing a couple. I feel like I bought these. I can't remember. Anyway, more Beatbox, and then here is Candy, which I love the colors for Candy. Some of their best, like, photocard backs, honestly. And then ISTJ, which is complete. I finished this in my last storing video. And then, of course, the million exclusives they did. And just random circle cards. You can tell I purchased 1 million copies of We Boom. And you want to know why? It was all for this jaemin and this one. They're just both so expensive. But I have them. I've had them for a while now, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, so that's it for Dream. And in this binder I have Wavy. So here we have Takeoff, which I really want to work on finishing this, but they're expensive. And then Take Over the Moon, the sequel. And then this is what was it called? Awaken the World. And then Kickback, before they had their, you know, 2-year-long hiatus. And then we have Phantom. And here is a setup for On My Youth. I am still working on these, but I do have some on the way. And then these are just random circle cards. So yeah. And then in this section I have all of the like NCT U albums, I guess. Can you call it NCT U? I don't know. It's like the full group albums. So I do collect everything. And then first we have Empathy. This was 2018. And then next we have Resonance. So this is part 1. So I have the past and the future, and then the yearbook cards in the middle. throwback to when Shotaro and Sungchan like only had a couple cards. Yeah, okay, and then here is Resonance Part 2. So I decided to only collect the selfie cards, and I just did it like this. And then here I have like just my biases like in the IG cards. At the time I had yeosang as my like 4th bias, but honestly it was probably Shotaro now. So yeah, and then here is that was Departure, and this is Arrival with some of the best photo cards like the hockey cards, are you kidding? And then yeah, so next we have Universe. So again we had 2 cards and like a yearbook this time. So I have the photo book and the jewel case, and then the yearbook in the middle. Which I love. This like just worked out so perfectly with the number of members. And then for SMCU we had cards like split by units. So this is 127, and then this is everyone else basically. So wayv, and then Dream and Sungchan and Shotaro. And then here is SMCU 22, which I'm still working on. So this is 127, and then Dream is complete, and for wayv and Sungtaro I'm just missing Henry. Okay, and then for their most recent comeback, NCT 2023 with Golden Age, so we have the what are these called? Oh my goodness. Okay, this is the collecting, the yearbook, and the archiving versions. So yeah, we're almost done with these, to be honest. Still missing a couple though. And yeah, so that is it for this binder. And we are almost done, but not quite. So in this gigantic glitch mode binder, I have just like miscellaneous non-album things. So like for Jungwoo, I have all of his Kino cards here, and just like other things that I didn't collect like OT9 for. And then I have some like random merch cards. We have like Season's Greetings, Sanrio, just things like that. All that is here. And then here we start like the actual like album kind of benefits. So I just have a couple for like sticker and universe. Yeah, not a ton. And then here's kind of where I started to collect more. So I have a lot for 2 baddies. And then here we kind of start Ayo. And then here is Perfume. And then we have some Golden Age and Fact Check. And then next I have some cards for Taeyong as well. So these are like merch cards and things like that. And then here are like his album benefits and things like that. So some from 2 baddies and Perfume, Ayo. And then more Perfume. We have some Golden Age and Fact Check. And I also have a little page for Johnny. I just like, I don't know, these are just my favorite cards of his, and he is a bias wrecker for me, so I just have a little page for him in here. And then next I have some cards for Taeyong as well, so some are just like random. We have some 2 baddies. This is Pink Christmas, and then I also have quite a bit for his solo album, Shalala. So just some like POBs and fan sign cards and things like that. And then some Golden Age as well. And then back here I just have like other random cards of other members. Like I have some Dino, Haechan, Sungchan, Mark, and then Shotaro, like his NCT non-album things. And then we have Kun and some other wavy like Win-Win, Henry, Yang. And then I collected OT7 for these like pink Vong cards because they are so freaking cute. And I also collected OT for these like Sanrio cards. These are the trading card packs. I think the B version it was, but like the ones with the little character cutouts. They're just so freaking cute. Oh my gosh. And then I have wavy Little Friends photo book cards here, and then wavy 2023 season's greetings. And yeah, that is the end of this binder. And last but not least, I have my 10 non-album collection. If you can't guess by the name of my channel, 10 is my ult in NCT and just like my ult in K-pop in general. So I do collect a lot for him. I try to collect him pretty thoroughly, like as thoroughly as I can basically. So yeah, again, I'm not going to go through like every individual card, but if you have questions, let me know. I'm still working on like collecting some of his earlier stuff. So yeah, season's greetings and resonance. And then kickback. I'm sorry about the glare, by the way. It always seems like so bad when I get to this binder, and I don't know if it's the sleeves that I use, because I have them sleeved in like a heart hollow sleeve. There it is. I don't know if that just makes the glare like worse or what, but yeah. Here we have like more season's greetings and universe and other merch stuff, SMCU, Sanrio, more season's greetings, Pink Christmas, SMCU, and Phantom. And then just more like merch stuff. We have Golden Age. And then here's like NCT Nation merch things and my setup for On My Youth. Still have a lot on the way. And then these are just like some of his Super M cards that I have. I don't really collect his Super M stuff super thoroughly. I just have a few things. And I mean, there are things that I would like to get, but his Super M stuff tends to be like a lot more expensive. So yeah, that's it for this binder. And that is my updated end of year 2023 collection flip through. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.